Good morning, everybody. This is VA to VA. Sorry for being slightly late. We had a few technical difficulties. But we're so glad you joined us today and hopefully watching even on YouTube and later on. I'm Tammy with Tammy's Office Solutions, and one of our members, unfortunately, Lisa, was unable to make it with us. And Lisa called as another one of our members of Augusta Virtual Assistants. And then we also have Nanette. I'll let you introduce yourself and maybe get us started today.
Sure. My name is Nanette Telemack. Owner of, in essence, virtual assistants in Newbury, New Hampshire, and I support small businesses and sales and marketing and graphic work, globally. And so I guess today our topic for the new year is to talk about business planning, and we thought that as we go into the new year, I'm sure many of us have been reflecting on where we are, where we want to go, and and if you haven't, this is a good time to start at the beginning of a new year. So what we thought was that you know we'd start by saying speaking about the different plans that we are planning on talking about, and one of the things that you need to do in a new year is, or should be doing, is reevaluating where you were, what were your high points, what were your low points, what the failures that you went through, and if you have a plan and you plan on being a solopreneur or a multi VA company or just any kind of small business, what you want to do is think about the plans future of your business, and whether you want to reduce your costs, maybe you want to grow your market share or improve your cash flow, get more organized, or do all of those. And if you do, then you need a plan, because if you don't have it, then how do you know what's working and what isn't? How can you grow if you're just drifting? And like many small businesses, we all tend to handle the day-to-day issues that we're going through, and we're not really paying attention to are they working, what's working, and what should you change. And that's the point of a plan. Also, if you plan on getting funding, then you better have a plan, because a financial institution's not going to give you funding without a business plan. So
Absolutely.
yeah, so our research has found that a lot of small business owners were concerned going into the new year, finding new customers, keeping current customers. Um, they were concerned about their competition and just growing their business. And so that's why setting your plans and goals are crucial to your success. Um, and so that's what we're going to talk about. What we thought, that breaking it down to three different parts is important, and then we explain what those three different um, parts are. We saw them as separate: business plans, a marketing plan, and a strategic plan. And the difference between all three is something that's important. So I guess, Tammy, you're doing the business plan, and um, maybe you want to
Yeah,
give an idea of what makes a business plan different from a marketing plan and strategic plan, and then what.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that was the thing when we were discussing and planning for today. And yes, we do plan. We discussed what were the things that we wanted to make sure that everybody knew about moving forward in the new year, and what were the important things in our own businesses, even that we could share with you. And I think even for those just starting out, or even those who are already in it. I mean, I'm 8 years in a business, but there are still things I'm tweaking and doing for my plans that are different than when I originally started. My business is totally different than when I originally started, because I started in lead generation, and now I'm doing virtual assistant, social media marketing, and all those components. So it's a very different genre, so to speak, that I'm almost doing now. So I did look up, though, I know the basics of a business plan, but I kind of wanted to see, well, what is a business plan? So one of the definitions that I found, of course, on Wikipedia, who doesn't love that, is that a business plan is a formal statement of business goals. And that makes perfect sense because that's exactly what we're talking about today, are goals. And then it says reasons they are attainable and plans for reaching them. So it may also contain background information about the organization or team attempting to reach these goals. And that's also important because, like Nanette said, especially if you're trying to get funding, whether it be through angels or venture capitalists or even through a bank, they're not going to give you without even the background information on the people in the organization. And even if you're just one entrepreneur, they still want to know that. What makes you experienced to be able to do the business you want to do? And then I also found some other research. Now, one of the great things about today is whoever watches and leaves their email for us in the page, the G Plus event page, we are going to send you a link for a free business plan template, a free marketing plan template, and then also the strategic plans template, and then maybe even some other few little things for you. So if you're watching live or you're on YouTube or wherever, if you go to our event page for today, January 22nd, 2016, and leave your email and say you want the plans, we will make sure you get the link for those plans, and they're all free for you today. Because we want to make sure you're well equipped to move into 2016 with your business. And then anything to add to that, and I'll come back to some of the business plan things. Did I lose you in that? Okay, so are you there, Nanette?
Oh, I'm sorry. I had it mute. I had myself muted. So that,
Okay.
sorry.
No, that's fine. I thought,
No,
oh, I lost
I
her.
also found a couple of other ththings that I think will be helpful, and I can talk about them when I get to the strategic planning part or the marketing part, and then that I plan on putting up as well.
Right. Okay, great. Well, some basic things about a business plan. And I found a great resource online as well, and I'll try and remember to write that in the notes for you. But there's something, www.liveplan.com, and there's a specific link that has articles about business plans in it. And I'll try and remember to put that on the notes for you all. But it had some really great ideas besides the fact that we're going to give you the template. And in the template, it even guides you through that and shows you like what type of information you should be putting in each section. And not every section is going to relate to your business, but at least you have it there and ready if you do want to use it. So basically, they said to use, they said to have like a quick one-page business plan, just as a quickly outlined strategy, so that you have that ready anytime and you can see that. And maybe it's best to even, put it up on a bulletin board or somewhere in front of you so you can see it and always keep your goals in place. And that'll be very helpful. But it says, you're going to use that document periodically to review your high-level strategies. And you're also still solving the same problems. You're going to review, am I still solving the same problems for my customers? Has my target market changed at all? And then you're also going to use an internal plan to document processes that work. So that's almost like a manual as well. And if you don't have manuals in place, and especially if you're like us, the VA to VA team, and you have multi-VAs working with you as a team, it's so important to have like manuals or documents in place that they can follow, so that when things happen or whatever, just on a day-to-day basis, that you're creating those. Now, sometimes we have to create them as we go, and I understand that, that we need to be documenting as we go and make sure to do that. But so this document also with new employees, and you're going to give them a clear picture of the overall strategy of the business. What are the goals of the business? Do they have, are they looking toward the future? Those kinds of things. They also say that we should set milestones for what we plan to accomplish in the next 30 days even. Assign these tasks to team members, set dates allocate part of your budget if necessary to do this. Now, I know for some of us that are smaller companies, that's hard to do. But even if you have to do it yourself, make sure you do those things. And I know that I teamed up with another great VA, and we decided we were going to set quarterly goals for ourselves, because when you have somebody to be accountable for with, it really does help you, because when you're accountable to somebody else, you realize you're going to have to come back and say to that person, well, this is where I am, and these are the numbers, and yes, I met that goal, or I didn't meet that goal. And it really does help. It was interesting, our journey on that way, and we're going to continue to do it, but with different goals. And so that was very interesting. So make sure you get somebody to maybe even help talk you through it, and help you through those different goals, and making sure to keep you accountable for them too. Especially when you're alone, it's real easy to say, oh, well, that's all right, I won't worry about that right now. And it's just so important to have somebody keep you accountable. So set those milestones and do that. Now, the other thing that's important in a business plan is setting a sales forecast. So do the research. Do the research in your industry, in the marketing, everything. And I know in the net you'll probably talk about some of that as well under strategies. So make sure you do the research to know, okay, well, what is the average business in this market actually making per year, quarter? Is one quarter stronger than another? I know for VAs, we often talk about the last quarter sometimes being the weakest, but I know this past year, many of us were very busy that last quarter. So some things are changing in the marketplace. And then it says to compare the planned budget and forecast, because you have to have a budget as well in there, with your actual results. So always make sure that you're coming back. And this is something I had to really myself do, because it's real easy when you work for a corporation or another company to make sure you're keeping those figures right and looking at them strategically in a different way. I can see on, I happen to use FreshBooks, so on their homepage, I can see my expenses, my, everything there, what's being spent for what, as well as what's coming in, and those kind of things in graphs, which is really helpful for me. But I still need to pull the figures and say, okay, well, this month, this quarter, this is what actually came in, this was what expenses, and this was, actual profit. So I still need to do that, and I need to, like I said, having that accountable person really helps too, because then I have to go back and really look at it. So, and then they said the final most important aspect of leveraging your business plan as a growth engine, about growth hacking and everything else today, is to schedule a monthly review. So, but maybe you're still a small business, maybe it means a quarterly review. For me, a monthly review, wouldn't probably be as productive as a quarterly review, because monthly, I'm just so busy, it's hard to stop. But quarterly, I'm going to make that plan meeting. I know I'm going to do it, and I'm going to talk to that person I'm accountable to. So review doesn't have to take longer than an hour, is what he's saying, but it does need to be on a regular recurring meeting on your calendar. So like I was saying, even if it's not monthly, make sure you do it quarterly, mark it on your calendar, set the date to be able to do that, so that you can really see and judge. Because if you go a whole year without even looking at it, and you get to the end of that year, then you're going to all of a sudden go, what happened? And where'd the money go? And all of those things, or I had no idea. And so it's really important that you keep a close eye on it during the year, and even more so sometimes for smaller businesses, because money is so tight, and we're doing it on a bootstrap, so to speak, most of the time. And so we really have to be careful of those money, those monies going in and out. So in your monthly review or quarterly review, go over your key numbers compared to your plan, review the milestones, and celebrate those. As a small business, you have to celebrate, those things, and they're important. And your planned accomplishments, set new goals and milestones, and just do a quick review of your overall strategy. And then, like I said, we're going to give you an overall business plan template, which is going to be great for you guys to use. It's several pages long. It walks you through everything so that you can just really fill it out. If you have any problems, I know I'm more than willing, Annette probably is, and Lisa, if you run into a problem with it, just please, reach out to us and we'll be glad to help you with it. Right, Annette?
Yes, exactly. I mean, I guess what's important to remember about a business plan is that it's your overall strategy, your financial plans and your target marketing, sales, and plan overall. And so it's your roadmap of where you're going. So, and like you said, having a mission and a core value statement is really important.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, I agree with you there. Because, and I have that on almost everything I do now. I mean,
Yeah.
have it on my website, even on my cards, things like that, because it keeps it out there in front of everybody, and probably talk more a little bit for the marketing plan on that as well. But yes, absolutely. I'm sorry, I probably didn't even mention that, but it is really important to make sure we have those, because I talk about that in my business plan, what my values are based on, why I'm doing what I'm doing, and how I'm going to do it, as well as what my mission is. And, for me, the mission is always, of course, assisting my clients to success. But now we've actually narrowed it down a little bit, and we say we are uniquely personal virtual services, helping our clients while empowering disabled professionals to work. So, that is our mission. And it says the two main things that are so important to us, our clients and our disabled professionals, that we incorporate in there. And so you need to, definitely make sure you know what your mission is. And, a lot of times we call it the big why. So, figure that out. Why are you doing what you're doing? What, I know you want to help your clients, but is it because, you also need to help your family or whatever it is? Make sure you put those things down, because without it, you're going to fail, because you won't have that behind the steam going. You need to know that within me, this is the reason why I do what I do.
That's very good. That's so true. I think I have that as well. Trying to remember why I started this venture, and why. So, I mean, it's important to put that down, because then that helps you when you're building your roadmap. I'm doing this for, and it could be I have all these skill levels and I want to utilize them. I want to offer them to people who can use them, something like that. And so that's whatever your core mission is should be a part of that business plan, as well as a marketing plan, and then also guides you in your strategy when you're doing your goal setting. So
Yes, absolutely. And I think that does guide everything, truly.
right.
Because depending on your core values and other things, you're also,
Mm,
it's going to choose where you're going to place those marketing dollars or time,
right.
because there may be some places you don't want to place them.
Right. Right.
And so those are things to think about when you're doing that.
Right. And so a business plan, again, seeing it as an overall strategy, and touching on the marketing piece, a marketing plan gets into very specific marketing goals.
Uh-huh.
Right, and so it's different than a business plan, in that now you're trying to define who your target market is. And so I guess we could move into the marketing plan.
Uh-huh.
Without customers, you don't have a business. And so, it's okay in your business plan, you can touch on your strategy, but getting into the details means a marketing plan. So how do you want to attract your customers and retain them? And uh, uh, People are not going to just come to you and say, walk into your business and say, can you help me? So
Uh-huh.
basically, you have to have a very strong plan on how you're going to go after your target markets. You have to identify them, first of all, and then have a strategy of a marketing mix of messages and programs that you put together. And so that means being honest what your bandwidth is, and not everything's going to work. So it's up to you to define, first of all, what I like to call a persona. Who's that persona? Who's that customer, ideal customer that you would like to have? Define that really well, because that's going to help you in putting together your marketing plan.
And it makes a huge difference. I know my ideal client has changed completely from where it was when I first began. And I think that happens. We evolve and we change in the way that our business runs and the clientele that we serve and things like that. Now, Lisa was the person that was doing our marketing plan for us, and unfortunately couldn't make it, but she did pass that along to us. And one of the things, just the definition that she put that the author, Michael Porter from Harvard Business, he's a professor and author, said that that marketing is anything you do to get or keep a customer. And so that's so true because that's really the goal when you're in business is to have clients and customers to keep and to continue to grow. And then she went on to say that marketing identifies a need to a target audience in order to convey a value that we eventually lead to the sale of the business or of the services. And I have to reiterate here value. That word value is huge because if you don't show a value to your target audience that you have, that you can be of value to them, then they're going to continue looking. So you have to be able to show through testimonials, through your website, through talking to them and presenting your business and earning their trust. That's a huge thing. Even though we do a lot of things online, especially virtual assistants. I mean, I have clients all over, Texas, Ohio, wherever, but we can talk to one another and we convey to one another the needs, and I help meet those needs. But you have to be able to build a relationship. So just like any business, even though it's virtually, you're still building a relationship with that person, probably prior to them purchasing your services. I've rarely had anybody just sign up before they ever talk to me. So I don't think I've had anybody like that. Have you, Nanette? Have you ever had anybody do that? So
No, that would be something, but there isn't anybody that would do that.
no,
So
no.
yeah,
So it's still about building relationships.
yeah.
But in order to do that, like you said, Nanette, they have to say, okay, who is my target audience? Do I have a niche? Am I actually targeting a specific group or audience in respect to, because I know like Lisa, she was a real estate agent. And so when she first began with virtual assistant work, she went to real estate agents because she knew it very well. And so she could really help them with a lot of things. And so she really targeted real estate agents. Now she's expanded to lawyers, to all kinds of professionals, and she has virtual assistants who are actually specialized in those different industries. So
Hmm.
that's great.
Hmm.
So what is it that you do now, Nanette? You and I are a little bit more generalists, in respect to we kind of do a lot of different things, that we can help people with. So I know. Did you want to say something? Sorry, you're muted. Sorry, hon.
Dang. I try to make it so that I don't interfere with you talking, and then I forget to unmute me.
I know. I
But
did.
but I, for
One
me,
day we'll do a clip of all the takeouts.
I know that would be funny, especially when we sweat with the technical issues. But I think for me, because I'm a generalist like you, I've kind of compartmentized what my skill sets are. So I know sales and marketing, and I know I do graphic work. I do creative media, and I do administrative. So those are the things that I know very well. Those are four, and yes, that's a lot, um, but I'm well rounded in that way. So I my marketing strategy touches on those four. And so I try to build a persona, my ideal customer persona for each of those four. And once I understand that, then I start looking at the competition of each of those, administrative, and I look at the competition and what they're doing, and try to define my ideal customer. Then and then of course, like, I categorize them like I do, and then what is my unique benefit as opposed to my competitor? What is my competitor doing well, and what am I doing well? What are they doing not so good? And what am I doing not so well? So I look at all of that, and then start deciding for each a unique marketing plan on how I go after that ideal customer, where I'm going to find them, how I'm going to speak to them, and make sure that when I do speak to them, my messaging covers the pain points that each of these customers are going through. Because you catch their interest. If you're able to speak to them and cover their pain points, then they're more likely to want to do business with you, because now you understand what they're going through. So, that's part of the marketing plan that and in your marketing plan, you should decide, how much money you're going to spend on, I don't know, web design or advertising, or you know, um, is it worth doing an ad in the paper? You have to budget and then decide that and lay it out in milestones of your advertising campaign, so in advance, and then review it after you do it and see, was that worth it? Did that work for me? Am I going to spend any more money there, or do something different?
Absolutely. And did I gain any clients, or how many?
Right.
And like you said, balance it out against the cost of obtaining that client. Because even like I know many of us don't necessarily do spend money on campaigns.
Mhm.
Sometimes it's our time, and that costs too. You have to figure that time in too. And was
Exactly.
it worth the time that you spent? And I know I talk to a lot of people about running, their social media campaigns and things like that. And what a lot of people don't understand, especially starting from scratch, is it can take 12 to 18 months to really build
That's right.
your profiles and to build an online presence,
That's
to
right.
do it right, I guess I should say, without buying leads, or not leads, but buying followers, things like that.
Exactly.
So you definitely, if you haven't and you're looking at just starting a business and you have not, even begun the process, one of the first things I would do is research that. What is your customer going to be? Who are you really going after? And how can you obtain that? And then almost begin online ahead of time as you're developing everything else to begin to develop relationships, because it's going to be huge for you later on. And then Lisa goes on to identify a few things. She identifies three things. About where to start. And we've talked about some of those, but I just want to just touch on them really quickly. And she says, as we said, identify your niche, target market, and ideal client. Is there a particular field of business you've worked in the past, like she's done real estate? What type of person would you like to work with? That's really important, because I'm going to tell you, you don't want to, and I've been there myself. I mean, you don't want to get in a situation where you have a client and you just dread it. You do not want to work with that client anymore, and things like that. So you really have to be careful about, who you're trying to, attract to you and your business.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Just like you build an ideal customer, build an ideal
mhm,
negative customer you don't want.
absolutely.
And you probably have an experience to add to that. Say, that's the kind of person I don't want to do business with.
Yes, and I don't know if you've had that yet or not, but I certainly had, and I can remember because I was in business probably 5, 6 years before this happened, and I'm pretty tough. I work with a lot of different people, but and I really stuck it out for longer than I should have, and I can remember in a lot of our groups even. People talking about firing clients and things like that. And I just remember in the beginning thinking that, and then I got that client. And I really tried hard to work with that client. I really did. I bent over backwards. But then that client started sucking everything from me, everything from my other clients. You know what I mean? And then at that point, I knew this was not going to work. And but that was the hardest thing. And I'm sure it wasn't working for that client either. Because we just had different personalities and ways to get points across and things like that. So yeah, so it's really difficult. Make sure that when you talk to a prospective client, that you are very straightforward, honest, transparent with them. Make sure that you have no problem talking with them in the beginning, and getting points across, and that they understand, you understand their need as well as them understanding your needs, and that you are a business owner. Sometimes clients for virtual assistants, especially, think they're employees, and that's a whole different thing. Go ahead,
Right.
Jeanette.
Right. Yeah, right. No, I see, sometimes I see people who are looking for a virtual assistant, but then they're saying, you're going to work 8 to so and this time, and I want you always available to me. And it sounds like an employee. And you have to say, well, you're not, this is what I can do for you. I'll try to meet your needs, but you can't define my time. You can't define when I do
Absolutely.
it. So, I
And a
mean,
lot of
yeah,
people don't understand that because you're a contracted
right,
employee. You are not a W 2 employee.
right,
And even as we run our businesses, we've talked about this before, that hiring contractors, you have to be very careful and specific about things. Although you can say this is the time frame I need it in, and if it's a project I need it by a certain date, but you can't say, okay, from 1 to 2 you're going to do this for me, from 3 to 4 you're going to. Those are things that are kind of off limits, and so you have to be very careful. So when a client comes to you and begins to say those things, what they're really saying is they want an employee.
right, right.
And that's what I said to this client. I just said, I think that your needs are greater, than what I can help you with at this point. And I think what you really need is an in-house employee.
Mm-hmm.
And they agreed. They agreed.
Oh, good.
So, so we were both in the same place by that time. So,
Yeah.
and it doesn't need to get to that if you can kind of, and I have a hard time with this. I'm being very honest. I have a very hard time with this turning away work as well as turning away clients, because I always want to help people,
Right.
but it is very difficult.
Right.
If you see red flags in the beginning, they're probably only going to get worse later.
Exactly. Exactly. And it's
Yeah,
better to be honest with yourself as well with your customer, and it's okay to
absolutely,
say, I don't think I'm the right fit for you,
absolutely.
as you discuss, how you will work together. I mean, yeah.
Mhm. And then the last two things, because we get on the strategy, I want to believe, because he's late and it's over.
All right.
But the second, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Did you? Okay. So she says, number 2, research what their needs are. So research what your clients or prospective customer, your audience that you're trying to reach. What are their challenges? What services do they need help with? Are they overwhelmed with the process? Is their current staff not meeting it, or do they have current staff or meeting their standards? Some of them have very high standards and they're not getting them met. Do they need to have a system in place? And I will tell you that's huge for virtual assistants, because by the time we get a client, most of the time,
Yeah.
they're overwhelmed, they're frustrated, and they're stressed, because in the beginning they can't afford to have somebody, and by the time they get to that place where they can finally afford it, everything's just kind of chaotic and they're very frustrated. So helping them put systems in place is really big.
Yeah.
And then finally, she says, list features and benefits that you can offer. Your skill sets, experiences, availability can give them a peace of mind, to make them look professional and keep them organized. By clarifying their need, you can offer the benefits they desire. And I'll tell you what, I've had before, just even on LinkedIn, when I've connected with somebody, I had somebody contact me and say, as soon as I saw what you did, I said, that's what I need. And they had been so frustrated and didn't know how to fix it. But as soon as they saw what I did, because I had put concisely how I could help them, they were like, yes, and called me that very next day.
Great.
So it's very important to do that, and show them how you can help them. So Nanette, please take it away with strategy for us.
Okay. Well, the third part and the last part is a strategic plan. And a strategic plan, a business plan covers, again, the who and the what of your business. The strategic plan gives us the how and when of putting your plan into place for your business. So the strategic plan are the goals for your business and how you will measure your success, because we all need to do that, and what metrics matter and how you'll track them. Because if you don't put your metrics in and you don't review what you've done and where you are in terms of your customers, new customers, or if you how you are with the customers you are existing customers, are they happy? If you don't have those metrics into place, then you can find yourself in trouble not too far down this year and wondering what to do. So what needs to happen, to outline a strategic plan, what needs to happen so you can achieve your goals? That's what you want to put into place and have as a measuring stick. What resources do you need to get there? And when will you get there? When will each activity takes place, and who will do it? If you're one person doing it, then you have to outline and time manage yourself to meeting those goals. And what do you need to do to reach your specific milestones? So the bottom line, the strategic plan is your action plan of your business. It's the tasks, the milestones, and the steps needed to drive your business forward. And typically, a strategic plan is outlined for like you could have a long-term goal, 3 to 5 year period, like where you want to be, where you expect to be in 3 years or 5 years. But then you also want to have benchmarks in place. So you want to have benchmarks are often set at like 6 months to a year increments, so you can actually see your plan rolling out, the execution of it, gain traction between milestones, and see where you are. So that's what you want to do. And to start, you want to first start with, of course, your vision that you built in your business plan, who you are, what you're about, and where you want your business to be in 3 to 5 years. And this will help you focus yourself, keep you on track. So you find yourself, so even when you're getting bogged down with your day-to-day activities of just your business, you could always have something to refer to and say, am I moving forward in these goals? You have something in front of you, so you always stay on track, and that's really what you want. Let's see, so and one of the
Absolutely, that's a really great thing,
yeah,
because
yeah,
we have to have the strategy, and it's not, sometimes it sounds like we're talking about things that kind of overlap each other. However, in the business plan and the scheme of everything, and in the package that we're offering you for free, there are things that will sometimes overlap, but they'll all come together and be organized in a great way, and you'll really begin to see what your business can do and what it can be.
exactly, and how to get started, like I said, is with your vision of what you want to be, but also be realistic. Where are you now? Because if you try to say, if you give a glossy look to you, to what you do, and you're really not there yet, then you're not being honest. Start from now. It's okay to see your vision, but now how do you get there? Where are you right now, and what do you need to get there? So, and one of the research I was doing on strategic planning says once your vision is defined, is go through the steps needed to take to reach each of your long-term goals, and kind of do it backwards. So say you have a goal that in the end of this year I want to make $100,000. What are you going to? So then I'm going to go back. What's it going to take for me to reach half of that the halfway point? Or maybe that 1/3 point. What do I need to get there? How many clients do I need to have? How do I reach that amount? And what do I need to do that? Market my company, have a set amount of prospects that you have to go after to get that. And then list your marketing steps that you need to do to get there. Okay, at this time, I'm going to have a website by this point. After this point, I'm going to create my social media sites, and decide which ones you're going to do at what time, and then make sure you meet those goals. And if you're not, what's stopping you? What's preventing you from doing that? So you have to review your goals and see what's holding you back, or pull, or if you've achieved them, and if you did, that's a great milestone. and you can be proud of yourself. So you want to
Absolutely. And excuse me, I'm sorry,
go
but I
ahead.
was just going to
No.
say, I love the idea of working backwards. I love
Yeah.
that idea because
Yeah.
so many of us say, well, we see virtual assistants making six figures or more, and how on earth are we going to get there? And
Right.
so I love the idea of working backwards. And then again, being accountable to the goals that you set and that, those, we have so many analytics available to
Mhm.
us today through Google, through all kinds of sites for free, most of
Right.
them. That
Right.
there's no, we should be able to gather enough information to be able to see why aren't we taking that?
Right.
What do we need to do to get there? So,
And you
and
and
it
you made
will
a
all
good
that
point.
be in, will all of that be on your material that we're giving to our group? Wonderful.
Yes. Yep.
Thank you.
And you made a good point too, when you mentioned, having putting it on your calendar for your milestones in your business plan. Where you do the same thing with these strategic goals. You should say, in 2 months, I'm going to check back on that marketing advertisement I did, or that social media outreach I did, and see what happened. Because that's the only way you're going to know how to spend your time, money, and effort. So and also I uh, found another suggestion of categorizing your steps. If you break down your steps and your goals and categorize them, you find that several goals may tie into each other. But for instance, create a new logo, standardize your fonts on your website, design business cards. These all can be categorized about on building a brand. So you want to categorize your goals by sales and branding, marketing, and have little goals, short-term goals and long-term goals. So in a month, I want to do something that's I have a short-term goal for building my brand, and then in 3 months, I hope that by branding myself, I become, I have customers who know me now, maybe locally, that kind of thing. So that's what you want to do, is have short-term goals and long-term goals.
I think that's excellent because most of us think, oh, how do I get to that long term goal? And I think just even like the small things that you discussed, okay, by next month, I'm going to order business cards, if you're new. By next month, I'm going to do this. And I know even for my own self, I have business cards, but I'm actually redesigning. And it just seems like I haven't had enough time to get them. And I'm doing some things now on a monthly basis that I have to actually set up a table and have some items. And so I'm having to order banners, and all those things. And you just don't even think about that when you're looking at your brand. And people have to do that. And just
Right.
like you said, categorizing and what you can do for other people in that way is also.
Exactly.
Because
Exactly.
you and I both help people with, the social media, the marketing
Right.
part of it. Yeah.
Right.
So I love that.
Yeah. And remember, you create objectives, for based on the categorization of your steps. So your objectives are your stepping stones, and the steps are the path, and your vision is the destination. So,
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's great. That's a great way to put it.
yeah,
So, yes, absolutely. Do you have anything else to share about strategy with us?
Oh, well, one of the things that I think would be helpful in terms of starting your strategy, it is what's called a SWOT analysis. So SWOT
Oh,
analysis is sort of a matrix. It's like 4 squares, and I'll have that up on for people to take as a sample. And what it means is strength, weaknesses, um, opportunities, and threats. And list your strengths, list your weaknesses, and the opportunities. What opportunities are out there on your business as it is right now? List them, and the sheet that I'll put up there, the matrix that I'll put up on that, will have questions that you should answer. And then threats. What's the threats? Your competitors, financial. Those kind of things. List them so you have them there, and that's a very good way of analyzing your company. Your business, and help you to build your goals and steps. Maybe you need to take some training. That maybe that's one of the weaknesses. You want to offer a service, but you don't have the skills. So those are the things that you want to do. And that's called a SWOT analysis. And that should be part of your business plan, all these plans, marketing plans, and your strategic plans.
That's excellent because it is such an easy thing.
Yeah.
We get overwhelmed with thinking, oh, I've got to do a business plan, marketing strategy, and all these things. But just take simple steps and say, okay, today I'm going to download the information. And then tomorrow I might write one thing in there, but take it
Right.
little by little. But that is definitely something we should do in the beginning just to
Yeah.
see. And then even revisit it often because things change,
Right.
and our goals change sometimes because I know for me, as I said, start out in lead generation, but now I love the graphics and branding end.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
love the marketing. I love helping people get out there on social media, so that's more of a passion of mine now.
Right.
And,
Right.
but like you said, I had to take training and I still am trying to take training and even learn more, but, because that's what I wanted to do. So
Right.
if there's something that you really enjoy, definitely take the time to be trained. And
Exactly.
there's so many new training areas. I mean, I know VA Classroom is one of the ways that virtual assistants are trained. There's, oh gosh, Virtual Assistant Bill has books. I mean, there's just so many out there now. Now there's, I don't even know if I'm saying it right. Udemy, UDEMY, has a ton of free training.
Uh-huh.
And then they have specials sometimes where it's like just today, $5, for different classes that might be 8 weeks long, you know,
Right.
and some of them are really great. And then of course college courses and stuff now do everything virtually as well. And I will tell you,
Lynda.com.
what is it?
Lynda.com is another one, so
Oh, great. Excellent. Excellent. Maybe we will put some of these things up
yeah.
as well as our notes. I'll have to remember to go back. But, but anyway, so there's so many opportunities. It's really funny because I saw on Twitter, a few weeks ago, something about um, becoming a virtual assistant to make money on the side. And I just had to laugh because I thought, no, becoming a virtual assistant is a business. You're not going to just be able to pick up money on the
Mm-mm.
side. It is all
Mm-mm.
consuming and it
It-
takes a lot.
exactly.
And Nanette, where you work full time and do this at night, so in weekends, I don't know how you do it, but and one day we're going to be saying, "Yay, she's already on her own," and everything else. But I just think it's funny. It is the perfect time though for new people to come into the virtual assistant world because um, we are in, like I said, back in the last quarter, we were much busier than the year before, I know, and years before.
Hmm.
And a lot of that has to do with the new healthcare and other reasons because small businesses can no longer afford to keep people on with benefits. And
Right.
that's sad. But it's
Right.
the reality of where our country is right now. And
Right.
so there's a great opportunity for some to come along and be able to help small businesses who are barely staying afloat
Right.
because of some of these things. And so I think it is a great opportunity, but please don't think you're going to do it part
Right.
time because
No.
it definitely is. And most clients don't want you to be that way
No.
either.
No. Not at
So
all.
I just had to laugh at that though. But I think all the things, I love that SWOT demonstration, and I'm glad that's in the notes because I think that's a huge thing that we can quickly look at, even keep in front of us, so that we can build our strength as well as remember to tell people our strengths, and then our weaknesses we can help to overcome and things like that. And the other
Right.
thing that I love that although we do have competition per se,
Hmm.
many times more and more today there's more collaboration than competition.
That's
And I love
wonderful.
that. I
Me
love
too.
that. Just like the three of us, we
Hmm.
collaborate on doing all of this. And
Exactly.
we collaborate with a lot of other virtual assistants for different jobs. And so I'm very grateful for that.
Me too.
I'm really glad that we have a great community on G Plus and other areas. So, so it's a great time to really get involved in that community as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, and I know that many people will help you if you're not able or not understanding really where to start or how to start in those communities. Many people will help you as well.
Yeah.
Not only us, but there's a lot of other great ladies and men that
Hmm.
are willing to help those
Right.
getting started.
Exactly. And it's well worth to just pick, well, with the storm coming, pick a weekend, to brainstorm, sort of like your own personal retreat, and do your brainstorming. Map everything out on paper, have it on in front of you to look at, a whiteboard, whatever. And that's a great way to start.
Absolutely. Yeah, we're getting hit right now with it. We're in Virginia. And so we're already started with the snow. They
Oh boy.
preemptively closed schools and everything yesterday.
Oh boy.
So, yeah, so it'll be interesting here because unfortunately Virginia doesn't have a lot of the equipment for it. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, in the past, just with general snowstorms, we can be shut down for a week. And sometimes if it's ice and things, we lose power. So I'm hoping we won't get the ice end of it, but it can really shut Virginia down just simply because they don't have the equipment to get everywhere, like up north does. Yeah,
Right.
And I used to live up north, so it was really odd in the beginning. But we've been here long enough now. We know, okay, stock up. You're going to be in a while. So yeah. I mean, it's a good time, like you said. Curl up with a good book about business. Curl up, watch some videos, and get the business plans and begin to decipher through some of the materials. And just take that time to really review. Put that time, you deserve it. Put that time into your business because it's needed and it will pay for itself in the long run because you will be more focused, not just floundering on where to go out there and where to, network, where to put your time and effort and money into. And so it's well worth the time in the beginning. And then even if you are 5 years in and still don't have one, that's okay. Start where you are. It doesn't matter because I didn't have a business plan either in the beginning, to be honest, because I didn't start out I didn't even know I was starting a business, to be honest. And I was very fortunate that it kind of turned into that. So yeah, so no matter where you are, just start where you are.
Exactly.
Yes. Okay, so we have just a few minutes left. Is there anything that you want to add regarding any of these things, Nanette? Any extra tips or anything? You did a lot of research for us, and I greatly appreciate that.
Thank you. I mean, don't be overwhelmed. That's the only tip I have. It seems like a lot, and it did seem like a lot for me, but you know what? There's a sense of relief and less stress knowing I have a plan. So if that takes away half your stress because you have a plan, then it's well worth making the effort.
Absolutely, that is so true. I think we dread it more than anything, and we have it hanging over us because it's not done, and we think, oh, we should do that. We've got to get to this, and things like that. But then, if you really just hunker in and really get it done, then you'll feel that relief. You'll feel like, oh, I do have a plan, and just walking through the steps, even of the business plan, marketing plan, and strategy plan, are going to help you because they're going to help you focus and really make you think about, okay, well, why am I setting out? Who am I trying to reach? And how am I going to reach them? So it's kind of like what am I doing? Why am I doing it? Who am I doing it for? And how am I going to get there? And those are the things that you really need to address. And so I think that'd be a great opportunity. We'd love to hear back from those that watch this later or watch today, and really tell us if you did those things and use the business plan. We'd love to see that. Again, remember to leave just a note for us that you want the package of the business plan packages and your email address, or you can private message. Well, you can send me an email, Tammy@tammysoffices.com, or private message. Nanette, do you want to leave your email as well?
Sure. It's in essence va@gmail.com.
Okay, great. And maybe we can add that to the board too.
Sure.
We got a little bit of work afterwards.
Yeah, we do.
But anyway, we just really appreciate everyone joining us today. Sorry about the late start, but we appreciate even those watching later because we know there's some that can't join us because of the time differences and things like that. Right. So stay warm, stay safe, and we really appreciate it. And that, I'll let you close us out.
Well, thank you for listening to us, and I hope that we gave some valuable information to all of you. And like Tammy said, stay warm and stay safe.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
See you next month.